finally, today we want to continue our journey through the parable that Jesus taught on the prodigal son. Take a look at Luke chapter 15, 17 through 20. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread? But I perish here with hunger. I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants.' And he arose and came to his father." The English Standard Version begins with the words, "But when he came to himself." However, I like how the New International Version puts it. The NIV says, "But when he came to his senses." Somehow, whether it be the world, the flesh, or the devil, or all three, the prodigal son got it in his head that he was going to live just any old way he wanted to live. And in order to live the way he wanted to live, he had to disrespect his father and reject his family. But not living for God and by God's ways landed the prodigal son into a world of hurt. Verse 17 begins the big change in the prodigal's life. Jesus says that finally, lost and starving, the prodigal came to his senses. The prodigal thinks to himself, "My father takes care of his servants. I'm not worthy to be my father's son anymore, but I could return home as one of his servants, and then I would be taken care of." Do you see what the prodigal is really saying here? He is saying, "I will surely die if I stay here in this condition. I need to be saved, and my father can save me." Have you ever seen this verse? This is Psalm chapter 42, verse 7. "Deep calls to deep at the roar of your waterfalls. All of your breakers and your waves have gone over me." Think of it this way. The depth of our need calls to the depth of God's fullness, and the depth of God's fullness calls to the depth of our need. God was whispering to the prodigal son, "Come home." It reminds me of the words of that old hymn, "Lord, I'm coming home. I've wandered far away from God. Now I'm coming home. The paths of sin too long I've trod. Lord, I'm coming home. Coming home, coming home. Never more to roam. Open wide thine arms of love. Lord, I'm coming home." Our final verse for our time together today is verse 20. It begins, "And he arose and came to his father." You know, it's not enough to acknowledge your condition of lostness and to know that you need to go home to God. No, it's not enough to acknowledge that. A person has to take action. The prodigal arose and went back home to his father. Maybe you have wandered far away from God in your life too. You can take action today. You can call out to God in prayer and tell him, "Father, in the name of your son Jesus Christ, I'm coming home. I'm coming back into a relationship with you. Help me to hear your voice and to walk in your ways. I don't want to live my way anymore. I want to live your way." Cry out to God. He will help you to come home to him because he loves you. Well, God bless you. I'll see you next time.